You'll hear what's going on in a bit, Sherlyn. Just give it a bit. Hey, Jason. We'll start at about 8:20, just waiting for a few more viewers. Morning, Mandy. Just adjust the camera a bit. Feels like so long since I've done the podcast, so happy Sunday to you too, Mandy. Usually drop my hair on weekends, so anyway, this is a public post, so eventually, you know, it's gonna get shared or downloaded or whatever, so at some point, I guess those who have to get it will get it. So think okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's, by now, because it's been shared to me a million times, there's a voice note going around purporting to be, well, not purporting, it was my voice. I'm sorry. Yeah, so there's a voice note going around with my voice in it. It is my voice, and where it appears that I issued a threat to somebody. First of all, I'd like to say that I deeply regret that voice note, or the public having to hear that voice note, and particularly me using the term asking if you want to die. There's no excuse for it. There's absolutely no excuse for using those terms. I should not have said it to the individual. But that voice note, I know the usual, you thief tens of thousands of dollars from the bank and you want to kill somebody for $350 and that kind of thing. The intention was not to issue a threat with any intention to actually mean that I'm going to kill you. I was speaking in a manner, if I should put it, in a sense of going down to the level of the individual with whom it was addressed to. I should not have done. His motivation for sharing it, I can only suggest, because you see that the people who are sharing it, and this individual apparently was a close associate of the former parliamentary representative for ancillary canneries. So you know the history. I'm not making a link between the minister, the former minister, and what happened, but I'm establishing the origin of that voice note, of what the present motivations for the sharing, and attaching a picture of me and a glass of wine and a cigarette, which they've used before. I don't know what the fascination is with me. I mean, everybody by now knows that I smoke cigarettes. I'm having a glass of wine. I'm not even sure when or how long ago that picture was taken. But no, I'm not high. Actually, I just woke up a while ago because my phone had been going crazy all night. I wasn't listening or picking it up, so I only just woke up. So I'm having my coffee now. In fact, that's my second one. I'm not high. But like I said, I regret sending that voice note, using the terms, because I will say that part of that voice note is true. The people who have to visit him will visit him, because I have engaged a police officer prior to sending that voice note, who on Monday will be visiting him. And the matter is not about $350. For some good bit of us, $350 is minimal, and for some, $350 is a lot of money. I mean, I can still do with $350 right now. It's not a matter of him owing me $350, and we'll get to the individual in question in a bit. I need to adjust that camera angle, it's a bit too high. But I was really upset, and that was a culmination of asking nicely over weeks and talking. And it's not about $350. The issue is much less about the $350 than it is about principle, the principle of it all, and other things, because there were red flags which I totally ignored, because I figured, you know what, I would trust that man, yeah, individual and whatever. And because of what just happened, what transpired a few days before it, it was less about the money than it was about the principle of particular things. The fact that I sort of trusted the individual, and I went against my better judgment. And first of all, for you to understand what it is, I'll just give you who the individual is. He goes by the name of Brian Cox. His name is Dyson from Ancillary. Those from Ancillary probably know him. Well, they do know him a lot better than I do, because it's only after I started making it public, just for him to just check himself and say, oh, let me just deal it down because he's a public figure, whatever. It's then people started inboxing me and saying, yeah, sir, Daman, you're doing business with, don't trust Daman and whatever. And after making particular calls to people close to him, they tell me, boy, but I'll get to that part. That light is pretty bright. That's my eyes, I just woke up. But Dyson, how do I know him? I wouldn't say I particularly know him, but then when I was at MBC, there's a form of satisfaction, a feeling of satisfaction that comes with the job as a reporter when somebody has an issue and you're able to not only report on it, but during the process of even reporting, you could get to the source of the issue, whether it be a public official or public entity, and get the problem solved, or maybe amicably get a dispute solved, and at the end of the day, the report is all in well. I mean, there's a good feeling to that. And he was one of those individuals who contacted me. That was a few years ago. He said, well, I know him, possibly, he's a DJ in Ancillary, and he had an issue with the police officer at the Ancillary station. And he wanted to report on it, but of course, doing my due diligence, I asked him questions and I guided him along as well. I said, okay, this is a good story, but we'll contact the police, see what we get from them. But there's certain things you can and cannot say, and guide him as to not get himself in trouble. Ironic, following that voice note. But it came to a situation where I did the report, and then whenever he had other issues in Ancillary, it's not political, and I mean, knowing that he was an associate of the then MP, who, of course, he and his party and the government at the time regarded me as an enemy of them, of the government. So you would not expect me, or the average person would not expect me to take up a cause on behalf of a supporter of the United Workers' Party, so to speak. Let's put it that way. But anyway, he would come when there are little issues, and of course, being a reporter, you make particular connections where people have issues with public officials. You could call and say, well, that situation is going on there. Give me some insight, or can it be solved? And sometimes you get them resolved. But it came to a point, he did that. It called me off and on, particular issues, talk politics. And he would send voice notes, WhatsApps, I guess mass WhatsApps to people when something goes on, or whatever clash or whatever. So it came to a point where it became a bit annoying, so I had to mute him, because all day, your phone, you're getting messages and that kind of thing. But nothing like that. But fast forward to about the middle of October, right? He calls me and he says, boy, we need a little favor. He's missing about 150 to clear some phone coming in and whatever. Now, let me get one thing clear as well, because I keep getting people think, well, you get big job now, but it's just a job, and it's not a high paying job. I don't have to disclose this, but it's not a high paying job as people would think. But it's a job that I love doing, I enjoy doing it, and a job I get a salary for doing a job. So, but people think that you're in some high paying salary scale and all that kind of nonsense. Let's just get it straight. I'm a communications officer. So I said to him, boy, nah man, boy, just start working on a decent salary. I have a lot of expenses to catch up on. I think I do have that money, but I wanted to clear a phone. He say, I pan in customs. When these things come down, he gets it. He gets it, whatever. So I told him no. I said, nah man, I don't have that, whatever. And that's fine. He said, fine man. I say, but he always shouts me out. He told me, I'll tell you one thing he said to me, and I don't know if it could have been kissing up. That could have been another red flag. In that, boy, after the guy said what he said, he blasted Dominic Fede and the PS of tourism at the time, who was supporting what guy said and whatever. That's a conversation just recently had. But it could have been kissing up. You never know. But the weekend after he asked me for that money, I seen a call, a two-way, a three-way call coming on WhatsApp. I was him, I seen his name popping up, and a UK number. Now I was tied up by the time I didn't answer, and I said, but what am I calling me for now, man? But anyway, I answered the second time. And then the person on the call happened to be my cousin, who's Yadi's nephew. My cousin who's in the UK. I haven't spoken to him in a long time. I haven't seen him in a long time since he came out junior. But he's into promotions, and of course that guy Dyson from Ancillary is a DJ. So you know, they tell me about things that they have coming in the pipeline. You know, and it's nice catching up with Junior, but at the time I couldn't speak up much. But then, you know, and then Dyson told me, well, you know, that's his link, his partner in England, you know, and whatever, and whatever. But it'll be in the following week or the week after. He calls me, or he sends me a voice note, and he says to me, boy, you know, he has some phones coming. He has a phone there for me. Right. So here's what I want you to hear first of all, Exhibit A, how it started.
I could have it still because I have a S21 Ultra for you. It coming in maybe Tuesday.
Tell me
I have a S21 Ultra for you. It coming in maybe Tuesday morning. Hopefully customs and everything might check the package before 12 or whatever. If anything, I'll call you to go pick it up. You just pay the duties on it and go pick it up.
You see how it started? And I asked, oh, respect my brother. I really had a phone. What's the duties like?
I have a boy inside of this, so I'll link him up. I'm gonna just always take my things out for me. So when it comes there, that doesn't mean more than 250, not more than that, bro. Because them fellas have high duties on the phone. I have a whole package coming in there. So you will get some brownies too.
Now, it turns out in the morning, he calls me, he said, well, the day before, he says $340. I said, that's fine. S21 Ultra. I thought about it, I said, boy, now, let me get this straight again for $350. Lots of people owe me money. And only recently I decided I'm not going to use any of my talents now from now on. Whether it be to voice an ad, whether it be to edit a script, whether it be to assist. I have tens of thousands of dollars out there for assisting on particular projects. Nothing conflicting, and I've never bothered chasing about it to have to go after people and thing. There's a spin-off effect because when people owe you, you owe. Right? So there is a spin-off effect, and that has been, you know, severely damaging. But it's just too much of a hassle many times to go after people for money. But like I said, in this case, it's a matter of principle. Now, preceding that voice note, you know, we were having conversations, airy conversations. So normally it's just a con man, but then we were having airy conversations, you know, talking about particular things in the political arena. He was showing me certain things, certain insights from inside there, because apparently he was close to Dominic Freveir and that kind of thing. So anyway, that morning, I said, all right, $340. It turned out, I said, it's an S21. Well, you know, you're at this point, then you really need money. You need a phone as well, but $340 is a worthwhile investment. And an S21, you could, just to clear it, an S21, you could make some good money off it, and it'll be nice to make that profit. That's how it works. Business, a lot of people would have done that in that position. You clear it and you can make some money off it. It's particularly when you figure, you know, things have been tight through COVID. Everybody has been squeezing and everything. That's fine. So it turns now from the voice note, as you heard earlier, that I'll just go and pick it up, to the morning now that he will get the money. And he'll come and get the money and he'll go and clear it and whatever. So again, another red flag, but then you ignore it because he's also apparently close to a long time close friend of mine from college, a good friend of mine, whatever. But so you just allow that level of trust, you give him the benefit of the doubt, you say as a that man is scamming. One second. Hey, what's up? Okay, shoot, tip. Alright, cool. Just give me a little bit, I'm coming, okay? Alright, cool. Well, I'm live on Facebook, so just give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and alright, cool. Folks, I have a serious emergency. I have to go give some. I have to go give someone a ride to the hospital. But anyway, just let me make it short. The fact is, it's a matter for me of principle. The guy never. It turns up hours later. He said, "Oh, I just got the phone there. The man just checked me. It moved from I was waiting for it to customs officer to he just checked me. I'll check you now in a little while." I tell him, my brother. That was the first time I told him. I said, neither the clock nor the calendar has any time or date saying in a little while. So yeah, about 2 hours, 45 minutes. It turned over. Then it turned to, guys, I'll check you. I told him, I sent the man a long message. I said to him, brother, and I explained to him. I said to him, it turned out to me messaging being nice and everything. I'm Marigo cul-de-sac on my way down. So I explained to him at one point, I said, brother, I said, let me tell you something. I just gave you money I don't have. I really don't have to do something for me. Understand that, yes, sir, because I know personally, I know it was a risk, but I just understand that. And think you appeal to it better senses, he called, then a fella had to drop it, he gave me a number for a fella and all kind of thing. And I didn't know he was a scammer. Until first off I called my partner Nate, who's from Ancillary. And he knows him, that's a mutual friend. And I say, bro, I said Dyson. And somebody had warned me, about something else, because it was some things he was spreading in Ancillary about the Wayne Girard and making me believe that it's other people that were doing it, but he was all well part of it too, that Wayne Girard was absent and that kind of thing. But I was getting to the point, yeah. I didn't try to understand that. Then I turned out to a fella. And then I told him, I really don't have my vehicle, I don't have a ride. So I'm waiting for you. I'm still nice. I said, I'm waiting for you at a particular place close to my home. Yeah, I'll check you there. I left a long meeting and I was waiting. I said, guys, yeah man, I'll come and have a drink or two. I said, I'll buy you a drink or whatever. So I'm waiting until 10 o'clock that night. And that is weak. That's just, mind you, that's within a day after I gave him the money for that thing. So I called Nate. I said, Nate, that man straight? He said, what do you mean straight? Is he really say, you mean that man's still doing them things to people? Another red flag. But I still give him the benefit of the doubt, because honestly, if you have to do what I did in terms of engaging a police officer, I just figure that's just too much hassle. So then, I stopped getting the forwards that he always forwarding to people and that kind of thing. So he's starting to ignore me. I called, he gave me stories. Until last Friday, oh yeah, my boss said PSA, I said, whatever. Because by 2 days later, I already told him, yo, I don't want the phone. Brother, I just give me the money back. Please, I don't want the phone. I told him many times over the phone, I don't want any phone, nothing, just give me my money back. Please, I say for the sake of the little friendship vibe that we just give me my money back. Because for me, it was just a matter of principle. No money. Just, you say, guys, I'll give you money back. But always a run around. The Friday, I waiting for him, he tell me 4 p.m. Nothing. I keep telling him, man, yo, I cannot be, I'm on a schedule, I have planned, I like to know things ahead and whatever. I cannot be there waiting for you and you're putting me off. I've told him that on many occasions. I tell him time is time, he say, boy, I'm sorry, my G, people always tell me that, about my time, I have to work on that. I say, no, bro, you have to work on that because you're putting me back. Think of the implications of people and what you're doing. So anyway, Sunday I messaged him, I said, yo, it's Sunday, so I'm not going to hear from you. I keep giving them on days 10 a.m. and think that one just figure out stuff. So it came to the point where I was just frustrated at the point. I was angry at myself for seeing the red flags from early, and just say, just trust that, man. I was angry at myself. I was angry at the fact that I figure, I did that, I'm so irate, and that's the papi show you're doing. Now that voice note was just me going down to diamond level in a language that you would understand. So I will say it was an idle threat in the fact that I say you want to die. It was an idle threat. It was just me being angry. But like I said before, it wasn't an idle threat when I said the appropriate people or the people who have to come to him will come to him. And that will be a police officer on Monday. But I do regret that voice, though it was out of anger, it was out of frustration, and I just been tired of just telling that man, if that was a stranger or somebody in some business thing, I'll just let that be. And that man is my friend, he's not my friend or anything. I just figure I deal with you so irate. I talk to you, I deal with you so irate and I'm the last person. But anyway, so Nate tell me, I'm not doing that to people. So I posted out on Facebook. Tell Dice now my money. And it's then people start inboxing me and telling me, you know about Diamond, you know about Diamond, you know about Diamond. So that was a bit frustrating for me. Right? But I really have an emergency. I have to take someone to the hospital. But I just want to apologize. And if it comes to the point that there's a legal matter for use of threatening words, so be it. That's the consequences of my action. His motivation for sharing the voice note was put, of course, as one can only think is political. As you can see, the Meta Lolo with Minerva and Kanisha and all of them, the people who don't matter, sharing on a live, and the usual hacks would say, oh boy, you thief so much money from the bank and you want to kill somebody for $350. That was me exploding over the phone out of anger because it was a culmination of you asking nicely and you saying, I said, bro, just don't do that to me. And you ask nicely and you give deadlines and you do this and you want to sound threatening. But I'm happy I took the decision to go through that route, just again on a matter of principle, because that angers me the most, because I put that kind of trust in that man. But I did not mean that I want to kill him. I used it threateningly, yes, because I was angry. And I regret that going to voice and people having to hear me explode in that manner, because I don't know, I mean, different people would react different in different situations. We are a little level-headed about it. But I'll explode and I will simmer down after. I'm still angry. I'm still angry at myself most of all. For even having to reach that point, instead of having to, you think back and you say hindsight is 2020 and you say, boy, Gasa, had you not ignored those red flags, and just put on your thinking cap and your foresight and logic. The man even sent me a screenshot purporting to be a conversation with the guy saying, yeah, it landed, check me 1 p.m. today and whatever. When I look back on it, the man's having a conversation with himself, because what's supposed to be his part is showing 2 ticks appearing to be from the customs officer. So I even ignored that myself, and that was like the same day, because that's not my mind. At that point I put that trust. So I want to once again apologize for having you here. And the human being in me, I at one point I do feel sorry in that situation with him for sounding so threateningly, because I want him to know that I am really upset about it. But I'm sorry that it had to come out like that and to be used and exposed for political purposes. But we know the usual culprits. And a picture of me smoking a cigarette and drinking a glass of wine, obviously it looks like a selfie I sent to someone, probably on WhatsApp a long time ago, probably what you doing, probably a Sunday chilling. I smoke, I drink wine. I could count 1,000 people who do the same on this island alone. You know, so once again, my apologies. I really have to rush to an emergency, and I will, if they need more clarification, but I'm ready to face whatever consequences. Like I said, if it boils down to legally, if he wants to go and tell the police I threatened him and he feels threatened, but we know, those who know Dyson, I spoke to him in the down there language that he's used to understanding. Because I had to get to that point, because I allowed myself to get too angry and I got down to that point. But then I regret it had to come out in public like that, but then the way that man scammed me, I do appreciate that. But thank you very much to those who listen to me. I know this will get shared and people will have whatever they have to say and whatever it is. But thank you, and I shall be on at some other time.